The 13th season of Erie Otters hockey featured a maturing team that used the course of the schedule to reassert itself as a contending team in the Western Conference. A solid mix of seasoned veteran players along with a steadily improving core of young contributors successfully combined in the task of ending a playoff drought that spanned 3 seasons, and in the process, reignited a passion for Otters hockey. Although hovering around .500 for the first half of the season wouldn't be considered a head-turning start, there were enough significant moments to signal a promising campaign was on the horizon. Only 2 games into his OHL career, Anthony Luciani made his mark on the hockey world, as the rookie forward scored not once, but twice on penalty shots in the third period of a 6-1 victory over the Plymouth Whalers. The feat turned out to be an organized hockey first that delivered the Maple, Ontario native a spot in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That historical moment was followed by an organizational first, as Jaroslav Janis led the Otters to a 4-0 victory over the Kitchener Rangers. The 35-save performance marked the first career shutout for the second-year goaltender and the first home opener shutout in franchise history. The win over the Rangers was quickly followed by one of the biggest and most exciting comebacks in franchise history. Sean Sidlowski's goal with only 6 seconds remaining in regulation capped a 4-goal third-period rally as the Otters drew even with the London Knights. Unfortunately, the high-powered Knights spoiled the moment, striking for the game winner midway through OT in a 6-5 win. The loss didn't deter the Otters as they went on to win 9 of 13 from mid-October to mid-November to remain in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference. The streak of success included notable victories over Kitchener and Barrie. A 4-2 win over the Rangers at the end of October took place on Breast Cancer Awareness Night. The triumph was accompanied by a $5,000 donation to local cancer initiatives. 2 weeks later, the Otters blanked the Colts 3-0 on Hockey for the Hungry Night. Sean Sidlowski celebrated the evening with his first career hat-trick, and nearly 5,500 pounds of food was donated to the Second Harvest Food Bank. The Otters followed their charitable efforts with 2 more inspiring victories. A 5-2 win over the Peterborough Petes on November 7th was overshadowed by the return of Jason Baird. The former Otter forward was severely injured in a landscaping accident during the offseason, but was able to be on hand to thank the community for raising more than $40,000 to assist in his medical expenses. The next night, the Otters enjoyed one of the biggest upset victories in franchise history as they doubled the Windsor Spitfires 4-2. Sean Jones netted the eventual game winner midway through the third as Erie handed the top-ranked team in the Canadian Hockey League only their second loss of the season. A month later, the Otters turned the trick again against the top-ranked Spitfires with a come-from-behind 5-4 shootout win. Zach Torquato and Ryan O'Reilly scored in the shootout, while Jaroslav Janis stopped 3 of 4 Windsor attempts in a second straight win over the OHL's top team. As is usually the case, the first half of the season also featured personnel moves in an effort to fortify the roster. In 2 separate deals, the Otters added a pair of significant contributors to the lineup. Towering veteran defenseman Chris Breen arrived from the Saginaw Spirit to reinforce the blue line, while second-year forward Andrew Yogan was acquired from Windsor to add some scoring depth up front. With the assistance of their new additions, the Otters closed out 2008 and welcomed 2009 in the midst of their longest winning streak in 6 years. Backstopped by backup Shane Owen between the pipes, the 6 straight victories moved Erie a season-high 3 games over .500 and created positive momentum heading into the playoff stretch. Ryan O'Reilly was front and center during the winning streak. The second-year forward collected 3 goals and 6 assists during the run, part of an Otters season-long 8-game point-scoring streak. As a top-ranked prospect for the 2009 NHL entry draft, the Varna, Ontario native was the Otters' most visible player in 2008-2009, representing the team at the Canada-Russia Series, the CHL Top Prospects Game, and the OHL All-Star Classic. Newly acquired Andrew Yogan began to display his offensive flair during the successful stretch as well. The second-year forward registered his first 2 career hat-tricks in a span of 4 games, leading the way to victories over Brampton and Kitchener. The Boca Raton, Florida native continued his offensive surge, scoring 2 goals and 4 assists in an 8-2 win over the Oshawa Generals at the end of January, a performance that was only 1 point shy of matching the Otters' franchise record for points in a game. For the first time in 4 seasons, the Otters were in the thick of things as the schedule turned to February, and the team collectively rose to the challenge, securing valuable points in 14 of the last 20 regular season games. Included in the run was a shootout win over the Niagara Ice Dogs, the Otters' 5th in 5 tries in 2008-2009. The 3-2 decision featured Greg McKegg's 2nd shootout winner of the year, and the continued domination of Jaroslav Janis in the format, as he stopped 4 of 5 attempts to run his season record to 16 saves on 18 shots. Janis' success in shootouts and a remarkable performance with Slovakia at the World Junior Hockey Championships made him a hot commodity for the 2009 NHL entry draft. His play for the Otters didn't hurt either, following a season that featured improved statistics and 3 shutouts, including a remarkable 48-save effort in a 1-0 overtime win in Sarnia on March 6th that led to CHL Goaltender of the Week honors. Riding the play of Janis and solid input throughout the roster, the Otters rolled into March with their playoff hopes within their grasp. A finishing kick that delivered 9 of a possible 12 points to close out the campaign, including a playoff position-clinching 3-1 victory over Owen Sound on March 4th, had Erie poised for the postseason for the first time since 2004-2005. The Otters closed out the regular season in unique fashion, on green ice, and in special St. Patrick's Day uniforms in a game against the Guelph Storm. A 4-1 victory and a $7,500 donation to the Mary Lemieux Foundation made the evening a complete success. The Otters posted the 3rd most wins in franchise history in recording a 34-29 3-2 record, finishing 7th in the Western Conference and drawing the London Knights in the opening round of the playoffs. Despite the fact that they possessed minimal playoff experience and were decided underdogs against the nationally ranked Knights, the Otters were confident heading into the best-of-7 series. Erie jumped on London early in Game 1 at the John Labatt Center and were even with the Knights at 2 after 2. However, London amped up the offense in the 3rd to outdistance the Otters 5-2 and grab the opening game of the series. A lopsided loss in Game 2 in London gave the Knights a 2-0 lead in the series, heading to Erie for Games 3 and 4. Undeterred by the results of the first 2 games of the series, the Otters delivered in Game 3, not only beating, but shutting out the Knights 4-0 to get back into the series. The game was a classic, a passionate penalty-filled contest that saw Jaroslav Janis turn aside 29 shots for the first Otters playoff shutout since 2001, while Zach Turquato led the offense with 2 goals and an assist. Game 4 at the Tullio Arena was another closely played affair, in which the Otters hung tough with their more experienced opponents and trailed by only 1 after 2. Despite pushing for the equalizer in the final 20 minutes of regulation, the Otters were held at bay by the Knights, who returned home with a commanding 3-1 advantage in the best-of-7 series. The Knights eliminated the Otters in Game 5, scoring 2 power play goals in the second period to break open a tie game on their way to a 6-2 victory. The 13th season of Erie Otters hockey reversed a recent trend, while at the same time continued to assemble the positive pieces for future success. Veteran team members provided valuable direction for an impressive group of young and talented performers. Players will be looked upon to continue the encouraging progress in seasons to come. In the end, the 2008-2009 campaign moved the Otters organization one step closer to fulfilling championship aspirations. There's nothing flashy about this player when it comes to defending his end of the ice. The Rochester, New York native has developed into one of the team's most reliable defenders and took great strides in 2008-2009 in embracing the task of shutting down some of the league's top offensive players. In doing so, the second-year blue liner earned an impressive and team-high plus 24 rating. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters Most Improved Player, David Shields. This player was acquired by the Otters in November and quickly became a valuable member of a dynamic offensive attack. In 35 games with the Otters, the second-year forward collected 17 goals and 17 assists for 34 points. Although cut short due to injury, his season included his first 2 career OHL hat-tricks as well as a career-high 6-point game. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters' most sportsmanlike player, Andrew Yogan. These 2 players led a balanced Otters offensive attack during the 2008-2009 season. This veteran forward finished at the top of the Otters scoring list for the second straight season, closing out his junior career with a campaign that featured 24 goals and 42 assists for 66 points in 66 games. Meanwhile, this second-year forward registered a career-high 66 points on 16 goals and a team-topping 50 assists to assert himself as one of the top OHL prospects for the 2009 NHL entry draft. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters leading scorers, Justin Hodgman and Ryan O'Reilly. This player developed into a double threat during his rookie OHL season. The 18-year-old defenseman was a standout in the classroom, where he earned a weighted GPA of 3.975 and ranked 59th out of 373 students at McDowell High School. On the ice, the Washago, Ontario native was one of only 3 team members to play in all 68 games, as he developed into one of the club's most dependable defenders. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters Scholastic Player of the Year, Brett Cook. This player has been an impact player both on and off the ice during his Otters career and captures this award for an unprecedented 3rd straight time. The veteran forward accumulated more than 90 hours of community service in 2008-2009. Most of his time was spent at Erie Shriners Hospital for Children, where he helped staff members with various tasks and comforted patients who were preparing for surgery. In addition to his time at Shriners, the Toronto, Ontario native also was involved in school visits and skating at events with the handicapped. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters Steve Nimigant Humanitarian Award winner, Luke Gazdick. This player didn't let the fact that he was a late-round pick in the 2007 OHL priority selection deter him from developing into an important member of the Otters. The diminutive forward used a 3-game stint with the Otters at the end of 2007-2008 as a springboard into his rookie season, which featured 11 goals and 16 assists for 27 points in 58 games. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters Rookie of the Year, Mike Cazzola. In his first full season as a member of the Otters, this defenseman provided veteran leadership and a steadying influence to a developing core of defenders. The third-year rearguard played head-to-head against all of the opposition's most dangerous players and finished with the second-best plus-minus on the team. The season also saw the 19-year-old enjoy his finest offensive campaign with 18 points in 66 games. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters best defenseman, Paul Cinfrini. There's nothing flashy about this player when it comes to defending his end of the ice. The Rochester, New York native has developed into one of the team's most reliable defenders and took great strides in 2008-2009 in embracing the task of shutting down some of the league's top offensive players. In doing so, the second-year blue liner earned an impressive and team-high plus 24 rating. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters most improved player, David Shields. This player captained the Otters into the postseason for the first time in 4 years and made the most of the opportunity. In 5 games against the nationally ranked London Knights, the veteran forward paced the Otters with 2 goals and 4 assists, including a 3-point performance in a victorious Game 3 of the best-of-7 series. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters' outstanding playoff performer, Zach Torquato. This player becomes the most decorated member of the Otters in a single season in capturing 6 individual awards. The second-year forward enjoyed his most successful OHL season in collecting 66 points in 68 games and added another 5 assists in 5 postseason games. In addition to his offensive impact, the 18-year-old headlined a penalty-killing unit that finished first in the OHL. The solid two-way performance, combined with his dedicated and determined approach to the game, elevated the Varna, Ontario native into elite status as a top prospect for the 2009 NHL entry draft. The 2008-2009 Erie Otters Lacastro Benini 3-star winner, Basson Award winner for dedication, most determined player, player of the year, and most valuable player, Ryan O'Reilly.